Welcome to America Live. I'm your host, Feng Ming. Today, I'm deeply honored to welcome Maryland House Delegate, Dr. Chao Wu. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, we sit down to chat about his journey as a legislator, community political empowerment, the rise of AI, and the job market. Welcome, Dr. Wu, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Feng Ming. It's my pleasure to be here. I am really glad to have people like you to really try to shape the opinion and tell our own story to, how can we be part of the American fabric?
We're all doing our parts. So I want to start with this. Not very long ago, you found yourself at the center of a major news story after being baselessly accused by colleagues of being a foreign spy. So, for the record, are you?
No, definitely not, right? This is a really unfortunate situation facing American politics. And in a lot of situations, people don't know what they're talking about. So the reason my counterpart, Republican delegate from state of Maryland, they're going to understand a bill called AI transparency and related to data AI model training. And they said I'm transferring data to China, right? It's that ridiculous because it's totally I did totally have no idea what they're talking about. And at the same time, I'm a proud new Americans. I would say, for the first generation Chinese Americans, we definitely want to contribute, and we're contributing to this great country. And we want to really provide our expertise in different ways. One way I'm contributing, not professionally or the data scientist, politically or the state delegate. I have been really a delegate supporting education, try to grow our economy, and at the same time, support a great community we're having right now in the state of Maryland. So I think the political climate right now is a little challenging for many politicians, right? And especially with the MAGA Republicans. And they, in Maryland, they're not really contributing to the discussion or policy for the state of Maryland, unfortunately.
So well said. And this conversation is special and timely. On one hand, your success story served as a celebrated benchmark for the Chinese American community. Your insights can help navigate current and future tough challenges the community is faced with. On the other hand, as America faces profound shifts and changes, your unique perspective as a highly educated, first-generation immigrant and policymaker carry exceptional weight and value. So today, I want to explore 4 key areas with you, okay?
Sure, no problem.
So let's talk about America's competitiveness in STEM. You and I both are from STEM, different fields. Since Obama, there has been an earnest push to step up, face the challenge of US shortcomings in STEM. Biden also took it very seriously. How are things now under Trump too?
It's not improving, unfortunately. Right? Mm-hmm. So it takes generations to improve STEM education. And I think one point, there need a culture shift. I remember when I first came to the United States, I read the New York Times. There's a word called mass phobia. I was kind of totally acknowledged, right? How can we think we're mass phobia, right? So it's a word I just remember all the time. I feel math is fun, right? I love math. I love to do the calculation, geometry, everything. And then when my kids joined the public school, I realized when you look at the STEM education, there are a lot of kids really left out in terms of accelerated STEM education. And then because they didn't build the foundation, and eventually they were left far behind, right? And when you think about the college, and then just look at one example, look at the gender gap. There are very few female in the STEM education. Think about it, right? Think about girls, well, actually more than 50% of college students, and they're less than probably 10%, they're probably only 10 or 12% of STEM students. And if you go to graduate school, the number is even worse for female. And then if you look at the graduate school in STEM education, majority of them actually foreign born, right? Either Chinese, Indian, and other from Chinese from China, right? Or Indian from Indian, or many other foreign countries. So because I just don't know what's the solution, unfortunately. But definitely we're not improving. The other point, when we talk about AI, I think everybody in the field know more than probably 80% AI researchers, engineers are Asians, right? Like majority of them probably not American born. So think about that situation. We actually fortunate are able to attract a lot of foreign talent to really contribute to AI. And I think we definitely need to continue to support that talent to stay in the US. At the same time, how can we really change our education system, really educate our kids, have more talent in STEM education? I think that's a topic facing every educators and the policymakers.
It's a tough challenge because it involves a cultural shift. Very well said. And for background information, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Dr. Wu has an educational background and professional service background in that field, in hardware, software, and the system and intelligence, all those. And the bills he sponsored and co-sponsored and voted on had lots to do with education, given his background as a community school board member. And so he's on committees involving in these fields. And also, STEM is linked to immigration policies, given the facts that you just enumerated, including admission, financial aid, employment, H-1B visas, key fields involving national security. And you have lived through all of those.
Yeah.
The current Chinese exclusion legislation movement across many states, Republican-controlled red states, is it helping with the security, with national security, with the public interest?
I think it's not, right? Unfortunately, I think that's the reality facing the American politics. Many Republicans, I think, like xenophobia, unfortunately, like Chinese, Indian, Muslim, and just unfortunately that and the Latinos, right? So America is a country built by immigrants and survive and
thrive on immigration, right?
Exactly, thrive on immigrants. And immigrants bring the talent and the vitality and all the good stuff with them. That means that sometimes they say maybe some criminal, right? But you don't get everything perfect, right? But the problem, where do we see it? Or the majority? I think the majority, 99% of good side. And so that's the point. I think we need to continue to attract talents and to come to US and to build the US and make US better, right? And then STEM education, I just use one example to see the cultural differences, right? So when you have a math education, so you need to do drill, right? I think that should be part of the practice. You calculate 1 + 1, 1 + 2, 10 + 25, right? You need to do this kind of drill to make you remember. And then those calculations build muscle, right? Just a muscle memory. You just, like when something comes, when I do 1 divided by 0.2, I don't need a calculator. I know equals 5, right? So when I first became a tutor for some undergraduate students, they need to use a calculator to calculate 1 divided by like 0.2, right? I just kind of really said, how can that be, right? How can our math be so?
It should be fun.
Exactly, right? So that's come back to like when I become a school board member, I listen to a lot of debates, right? So the community always have debates that, oh, test is bad, right? We shouldn't have drills. At the same time, on the high level, if you look at STEM education, it's not as good as what we want, right? So for example, for the whole state of Maryland, our math score, like passing score didn't achieve 50%, right? So reading actually a little better, but math is always under 50%. A lot of kids couldn't do the math. And we have calculators, we have cell phones, we can do everything. But at the same time, math itself is not just calculation, it's about a logic, right?
Right.
So when you have logic, you don't make like pretty like instantaneous decision. You know something will be bad, you don't jump in, right?
You go through reasoning.
You look at the probability, right? You know when you buy the lottery, your probability of winning is pretty low, right? You don't put $100,000 there, right? And for example, right, for a reasonable person, you know the probability is low, right? The same, you know that like everything you're doing, you think about the probability, you think about the logic, right? When you have the logic consideration, You don't jump in, do something. Once you get that mentality, I think it will help you to stay calm, right? Make a logical decision and make you have make less mistakes. Let's use that word, right? When you make less mistakes, you're successful already.
It's affecting the quality of our communication or public communication. The English language is no longer graceful, elegant. Our president said he lowered the medicine price by 500%. So people say, so are you saying the sellers are paying the buyers 500%? What are you talking about? And it's a horrendous joke. Now, let's change gear to look at the Democratic Party politics, given this is election year, midterm year. I want to look at the unity between liberals and progressives in particular, because progressives are doing increasingly well in local and state elections. And on the national level, you see some in the US Congress, but the local and state level elections, you see many stories more and more. Some celebrate this and many worry. How can the Democrats benefit from this changing dynamics, these new developments, rather than let Trump and MAGA divide and conquer? A house united is strong, stands strong. So if we fight each other, if Democrats, even under the banner of liberals and under the banner of progressives, DSA and stuff, they fight each other, the only winner is Donald Trump and his MAGA gang.
I think that's a Chinese situation, right? Every group feels strongly about their I would say their hope, their approach to doing things, and their expectation, right? And their thinking like about how to do things right? So that's part of diversity inside the Democratic Party. There sometimes one side dominates, sometimes other side dominate. I don't think there will be ever a moment everybody can agree. I think everybody can agree Trump is pretty bad for the country. So even a lot of Republicans say that. So that's I think the point I want to make in order for Democrats to unite, the one thing that I think we can do, everyone should be civil in a lot of discussion. Don't try to really badmouth your opponent, badmouth people you don't agree, right? Keep that civility, that will be helpful. I think a lot of times when we use a word which we shouldn't use, and that will hurt other people, then come back hurt the relationship. Politics is a lot about relationship, right? You build a relationship, you build the trust, then you find an alliance on some issue. Maybe in the future you don't agree. Maybe right now you don't agree. But like we can always work on the common goods in terms of how we can help the Democratic Party win back the midterm. If we can think about that's the goal we'll go, I think we can really get away with a lot of divisions in terms of focus on how we can achieve there. And for me, I think in general, I kind of focus the issues. For different issues, I have different opinions. So I just try to stay, in general, try to be professional and try to be not personal, right? And that's the way I think I'm trying to build a coalition myself as well to say what we can do, use my background and my strength to make Maryland better. Like, for example, I have a bill talk about try to have a statewide high school robotics competition for the varsity program, right? So people didn't know that. For robotic competition, actually there are a lot of girls participate as well. It's not like other game, either female or male, right? You have to divide it by gender. For this robotic competition, you don't. And then you have a lot of hands-on experience, you have educational experience, you have outreach experience. That I feel robotics competition can be something really helpful to enhance STEM education. So that's something I've been pushing. And the bill failed this year, but I will continue to push for that bill. I feel there's a chance it can pass next year. So I'm hoping more people can join me to support the bill as well.
I must say that's pure political wisdom. Goodwill, civility, building trust, alliance, and synergy, taking the issues, problem solving more seriously than yourself, and and all that. That's wonderful, beautifully said. Now, Maryland is a blue state, much smaller than California, but still blue. But Maryland is known to be moderate and pragmatic, full of people like you, probably. It focusing on serving communities and citizens, even with the recent anti-MAGA GOP moderate as a governor. Tell us about Maryland political landscape. Where do you see things going? Is it going to keeps going this way? I think Maryland is going to prosper very much, and there's a lot to gain from this.
Yeah, I think you know Maryland pretty well, right? Hogan was elected twice as governor. You can see Republicans still have the chance to be elected, right? Even we have 60%, more than 50% Maryland voters are Democrats. And now in Maryland, Republicans actually have smaller share of voters than independent voters. Think about that, right? More than 20%, more than 25% voters in Maryland is independent.
But he got elected governor twice.
Yes.
That's remarkable.
Right? He's pretty pragmatic, right? He built, that's something important because or the governor or the highest executive of the state, people want you to be able to solve problems, right? And then because like definitely some issues, the previous governor, right? That caused some issues. And then Democratic candidate lost that momentum to support Democratic candidate in that year. So Hogan was elected. And so you can see Hogan has been spoken strongly against the MAGA Republicans, right? Either Republicans running for governor or even President Trump, right? So I think I always tell people, right, or the Democrat legislator in state Maryland, and we are superb majority, and our constitution faces a lot of different challenges. For us, I feel it's important to find a solution to address those solutions, and then their short-term solution and their long-term solutions. And we can learn though. And when you talk about the size of state Maryland, we're small, but we're actually not so small, right? We're, I think, like a 19th in terms of population in the whole country. So like around 6.3 million, 3.4 million people, but we're pretty big. We're so close to Washington, D.C., right? Building a good relationship with the federal government is so important as well. Even Trump kind of tried to dismantle a lot of federal agencies, right? At the same time, we still want to have a strong federal agency to support the whole country. I think when Trump's gone, right, we have new governor, new federal like a Senate House and then new president. I hope something will kind of swim back to the middle a little bit, right? If Democrat takes control, that'll be even better. I think that in terms of a lot of stuff, Democrats is doing better than Trump. Trump just unfortunately sometimes have a better rhetoric, and which is like social media presentation, presentation. And I think things will change. People will realize he didn't really achieve anything he claimed he wanted to achieve. So hopefully in the middle term, Democrats can win back the Congress, and then we have a check balance in terms of power. And we don't want the president to be a dictator, right? That will be bad and dangerous for the whole world with so much power in this country.
I'm independent, although I'm a pro-Democrat independent. I'm proud of what our communities are doing. I'm proud of what California is accomplishing. But I particularly appreciate what's happening in Maryland. It goes above and beyond partisan politics. It's focusing on the community, serving the people. And I wish the state well, and I thank them. Now, AI transparency and security. How on earth has your push for AI transparency invited criticisms and attacks? What is all that about?
Because other people who just attack you without any reason, right? And
Okay.
they're illiterate. I use the other way, illiterate, right? The similar bill actually passed the California House and Senate. And so you can see, right, it's a reasonable bill. And we have a lot of agencies support my bill last year. It's a bill last year. I don't know what, but I feel it's not easy to pass. So I did not reintroduce a bill this year, right? But I will continue to push for similar bills. So personally, AI has transforming the industry a lot. And you heard of, for example, you heard about computer science graduate, fresh graduate couldn't find a job, and then they're replacing a lot of writing jobs, even Hollywood, right? Debating on AI's role in terms of making movies.
Right.
And
Writers Guild, right?
Yeah, right. How can we support people who are losing jobs to AI and robotics, which is not their own fault? For example, robot taxi. You can see now it's really Tesla can drive themselves, right? And from A to B. And what can we do to help those, for example, taxi drivers, truck drivers who are losing jobs? It's not their fault. I think that's a topic really serious to face the policymakers. And I will continue to put forward bills like this. And because I know the challenge facing that, because I'm a data scientist, I'm a design AIs and models, and actually, unfortunately, replacing ourselves. But we make the system more efficient, which is unfortunately, we have to have it. So that's the place I see I can really contribute a lot because of my background as an AI data scientist, as an engineers, as an immigrant, and as a former school board member, and a Chinese American.
Whether people like it or not, there's a race, the AI race, a tangible, open AI race between the United States and the People's Republic of China. Is the U.S. losing this AI race with China? And should that be concerned?
I definitely feel there's a strong competition, right? It's very China has an open source model. Everybody can use it, right, for free. And for US side, everybody try to have their own best model, but a closed model. And I don't know which one will win. But with the open source model, you definitely bring up more talent, train more talent. Because, for example, if I want to do some AI work, I definitely will use it like those open source model. I do some fine tuning myself, right? I change some parameters. I can make it more tailored to my research area, for example, right? I can deploy those models myself locally on my computer. And you can see through those hands-on experience, you get more people interested in that. You can deploy that model in your robot, right? You can do anything yourself. So with that open source approach. And I think for people in the software development area, IT industry, we know open source has been a strong drive to make this whole software industry much larger, bigger, and more accessible to many people. I personally feel, and open source has a better has an advantage in terms of promoting AI adoption.
Wonderful. So last set of questions on the job market. How do you see this job market is evolving? What jobs are being eliminated, replaced by AI the fastest, to the extent that they're just simply totally disappearing? They will soon, or they are totally disappearing. What kind of jobs?
So anything repetitive that without creativity can be replaced easily. Think about that. So for example, call center, we know has been replaced by AI a lot, right? So AI can understand what are you trying to ask, they can answer you, right? Like chatbot has been so prevalent everywhere. So anything can be repetitive and will be replaced by AI and the robot. I think everybody can see in manufacture line, right? AI doing assembly line. You can see even in car manufacturers, right? And they can work 24 hours a day and without really kind of take a break. So in order to overcome that, I think we need to learn how to use AI as a tool to help our work, right? Either help our mentor, like you do design, you do like creativity work, or use robots to be a companion, like a companion to support you. If you are in the manufacture line, AI can be part of the workflow, right? And then help you to be that part. And you are going to manage AI to work for you. So it's the same concept called AI agents, right? So people said, okay, I'm using different, like 20 agents or 100 agents to work for me. Like one agent work on the research, the other agent doing the critique, right? Third agent work on the report, last agent or the job, right? So they got, and third, like last agent maybe serve the translator, and the different roles they can play together. And but you can see the point. But you are in the center to manage those agents. So, but you need to have that knowledge to ask them what's the critical part, right? How to make a judgment whether that output from that agent is correct or not. And that part of knowledge, I would say, will not develop in a short period of time, right? You need to have that hands-on experience. You need to read a lot. You need to really work with the AI agent a lot. So, like in terms of software side, I think you need to have that architecture design experience, right? You know that from how do you put different agents work together? That's a kind of architect. Right? If you still a junior CS grad, computer science graduate, you only focus on programming itself. That's not enough, because now AI can write better code, much faster and even nicer code than humans.
So anything that's standardized, repetitive, that machines can do faster, easier, cheaper, instant than human, superior to human flesh, will be eliminated immediately. And they are being eliminated now. And the counter is to strengthen and fully utilize your human agency, and to outsmart the machines, and the machines make the machines work for you. That's very, very good advice. What new opportunities are growing strong in startups and investment using AI?
There are so many different areas. One example, I personally feel AI, the robot side, right? Robot is still not the place where I feel can work as expected. One example, I have a personal interest in working on robot because my bachelor degree is automation, automatic control.
Okay.
Right. That's the reason when I choose my major. When I graduated from high school, I always think about the robot. But unfortunately, when I graduated, robot is really complex, right? You couldn't build any robot. Right now, with a lot of hardware support, you can put a lot of components together, make a robot. But the robot is not to the degree they can really be a companion, right? They can read and they can see, they can talk, but their intelligence is still not to the level which can really be a huge help, right? And their motion and the arm, the hands is still not to the degree can be as flexible as what we want, right? So I feel that area there definitely a lot of improvement will going on, and eventually maybe in 20 years, like every home will have a robot to be a home companion.
For people who may wonder, Dr. Wu did his undergraduate education at top of the top Chinese science and engineering STEM school called the Science and Technology of China. Okay, so I would compare that to our Caltech. MIT would be Tsinghua, and University of Science and Technology of China would be USTC, would be our Caltech, top of the top. Now, back to politics. Now you're a politician, I'm speaking to. How should the U.S. better manage international students and scholars in our universities and workplaces? And this has been going back and forth and back and forth. It seems like, so much uncertainty here. And this is not going to last. This is not the way to conduct, state business. This is wrong. And we should have a clear policy of inviting and encouraging people come and stay, because we're lifting those talents out of other lands, foreign lands, overseas, free. And they come and settle down. They marry, have kids. They pay taxes. They make contributions to community, society, workplace, employers, and research and development, all that stuff. We need to stabilize. What's your insights here?
I totally agree with you on this, right? America is built by immigrants, survived because of immigrants, and we have been always have strong immigration to the United States. Right now, I personally feel it's pretty sad to see what the status about how the federal government treating both immigrants and the international students, right? So I think in terms we are fortunate we're able to attract a lot of international talent. And one example, talk about the AI industry, right? Probably 80% of AI researchers and engineers, right? They're Asians, and many of them actually foreign born, right? I think we're fortunate to really able to track those talents. They're contributing greatly to this economy and the AI industry. And as you said, most of them probably settle down as new Americans, U.S. citizens, right? They contribute greatly to this country. We should be able to appreciate that effort. So, but there's a politics there, right? There's a tendency of xenophobia, and then or tendency blame others for their own failure. That comes because that the xenophobia. So, I think as a policymaker, we definitely want to create more opportunities for everyone. And some people were lag behind because of AI and automation. And how can we help them to find new skills or support their basic needs? That's something policymakers need to think about. It. One example about a robot taxi. Think about in the future, right? We don't need a taxi driver. We don't need a truck driver. At least we don't need so many of them, right? So, and right now they can still earn a living by driving taxis and trucks. But what happens if everything automated? And how can we support them to say work on something different and still can support themselves and their family? I think that's a big challenge for policymakers. And on one side, we want to support everyone. On the other side, we only have limited budget, right? Limited resources, and then people don't see that come immediately, right? They don't think about it right now. But when the moment comes, that's a big transition for the society and economy. And personally, I feel we need to prepare that earlier than later. So that's the reason this summer, actually have interns doing the research topic to focus on how can we prepare for the robot taxi moment.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. It has been immensely formative and instructive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Wu, for your time, your insights, and your dedication to serving the community and our country. We wish you the best of luck in your upcoming re-election campaign.
Thank you, Feng Min, for this opportunity. I really appreciate today's conversation.
And thank you out there to everyone watching America Live and listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.